Hello everyone, this is David's Fix podcasting with Vivi. How you doing? How have you been? All right, welcome to today's episode. Welcome to today's speak. Welcome to today's talk. All right, to explain a key topic. Are you excited about it? Oh, I'm super excited about it. All right, okay. It's called My Ideal Child. Yeah, my ideal child, and I want you to know that this episode, this topic is talking about a child. And when we're digging, you know who the child is. All right, imagine someone walks up to you and asks you define the word child. Would you say a child or children are gifts from God alone? It's not untrue though. Yeah, it's not untrue. But Diva Specs is going to define the word child in this manner. A child is an innocent, caring, and unique, moldable being with the capacity to grow in moral awareness, who can be shaped by environment or guidance, but ultimately carries God's given purpose and potential. Listen, but ultimately carries God's given purpose and potential. Alright, so it's not enough to be a guardian or a parent, or it's not enough to be that. But as you train a child, you should know that that child carries God's given purpose and potential. Alright, okay, this is a godly podcast, so you're gonna hear a lot of God, Bible, God, scriptures, verse, and all of that. So it's okay. I know you wondered why the long definition for a child. It's okay. So another question is this: who is an ideal child? Yeah, you must be wondering. An ideal child reflects both in character and faith. And not just that, an ideal child grows in alignment to God's will. So when we talk about an ideal child, there's growth is seen in an ideal child. I'm going to be mentioning some attributes of an ideal child together with the Bible verse. Okay, 1, an ideal child is obedient, and we can see that in Ephesians 6 verse 1. 2, an ideal child honors. We can see that in Exodus 20 verse 12. 3, an ideal child reverence God, and we can see that in Proverbs 1 verse 7. An ideal child grows in wisdom and stature. Remember when I said growth? And we can see that in Luke chapter 2 verse 52. Fifth, an ideal child is loving and forgiving. I know I'm laughing, alright, because I know people who always tell themselves, I'm God's child, I'm a child of God, and when it has to do with forgiving, they don't like to hear it, and they want to tell you 1,000 reasons why they don't want to forgive. And sometimes listening to it in as a human, you would actually want to side with them. But do not forget, an ideal child is loving and forgiving, and it's not my word. You see that in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4-7. And the last I have here is an ideal child learns and obeys God's word. And we can find that in Psalm 119 verse 9. I want to take a pause so you can actually assimilate everything I just said. Yeah. And also, I know you'll be thinking, oh my God, the ideal child, they're talking about the children around me. Oh, my kids. Oh, nah. Let's assume you're a teacher. You're like, oh, the children I teach. Or maybe you're a parent. You're like, oh, the parents. And maybe as a sibling, you have younger ones. You're like, oh, my siblings. No, babe. That's not it, mom. That's not it, sis. That's not it, bro. That ideal child is you. You are that ideal child. Yeah, you and I are God's ideal children, and He's reminding us on how He wants us to be. Yeah. The God's nature of an ideal child has never changed. Never changed. Never changed. Yeah, it has never changed. And the ideal child has a guide. And do you know what a guide is? The guide is the Bible. The Bible is the surest plug that guides a child, that guides God's ideal children. And if we do not have the Bible in our hearts, we do not study that Bible, and not because we are told to, but because from our heart we love God and we want to know more about what it means to be God's children, we cannot be that ideal child. Alright, so everyone listening to me, I want you to know that for you to be an ideal child, you should embrace growth. A child is not growing. Oh my God, what do you think the parents would do? The parents, you have to, I don't want to think about it. That's a disease. All right. So when we talk about growth, you and I need to grow daily. Nothing is stopping us from growing. And do not forget, an ideal child learns and obeys God's word. An ideal child reverences God. An ideal child is loving and forgiving. Seriously, I won't tell a lie. There was a time I had issues with loving. When I mean loving, you are loving from your heart genuinely. No strings attached, nothing to make nothing. There was a time I had issues with those, just loving people. Like, how do you just love people? Like, it was hard for me. But I said I was like God, because I was around people that they love people, the way they show compassion. There's a difference between having pity on someone and loving people, right? I was around people around some persons in a particular point in my life where they loved people, they were loving, and I was like, wow, can I love people like this? So I was working to myself, and I'm like, God, help me to love. Alright, I know I have not really gotten to the level where they love people, but I know I'm actually in a good position, better than I was before. Okay, so do not forget, my ideal child. It's God telling us the kind of child He wants us to be, the kind of child we ought to be. Alright, and when we have learned about God's ideal child, we are able to train people we are ahead of. We are able to mentor them, because the truth is, if we're not rooted in God's word, if we don't really know what it means to be God's child, our training with other persons is not gonna be, it's gonna be shaky. They're gonna be standing on a shaky ground, and God doesn't want that for us. Alright, so I'm gonna be ending this podcast with a Bible verse, Proverbs chapter 8 verse 32, and you're gonna be saying it with me. Now then, my children, listen to me. Blessed are those who keep my ways. Right? You can actually get that in different version, in different Bible verse, KJV, and all of that. Okay, but just know that in a nutshell, we have learned about how God's ideal child ought to be, and we need to try our best to be practical about that. Would you be practical about that? You sure will. I pray that the Lord grant us grace to try our best to be practical about it. I'm so sorry this record is longer than I expected, but I'm so happy to do this. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to David Speaks. Please do well to comment, share, react, subscribe. Don't forget, this is podcasting with Divi. Bye-bye.